This episode may contain stories of domestic violence. Please be advised. Welcome to the Sage Advice Podcast, where each week we sit down with people just like you who have left abusive relationships and found healing. Don't forget to check out our website, sage.community, because together we can survive abuse with grace and empathy. Now sit back and get comfortable. The Sage Advice Podcast starts right now. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning into this new year, new beginnings episode of the Sage Advice Podcast. I'm so excited to be back on the airwaves. I wanted to give you guys an update. No, we're not gone, but there have been some major life changes happening for me, and I've been learning to honor my emotional energy. And frankly, there's just been so much going on that my energy has been needed elsewhere for a bit. But next year, we do have some people already who are working on their stories, who want to come on the podcast to share. And so when they're ready, I'm so excited to have the chance to record an episode with them. If you're ready to share your story, or if you feel like you have an interesting perspective, please reach out, send us a message on Facebook, email hello@sage.community, and we'd love to put together a time for you to record and get your story out there so you can help a lot of people, because that's what we're here for. Helping people, creating a community, creating a sisterhood, a brotherhood, and just really helping people out. So with that said, I wanted to talk about what has been going on with me, because I think it really lends to the healing process. So coming up in March of 2022, it's 3 years since I left my relationship. And the healing process, as you know, if you've been following along on, the podcast and different things that I've said, it's really been since I started Sage that the healing has really kicked up a notch. And I feel like I'm clear-headed, I'm strong, I'm getting back to my strength before recognizing myself. But I say that, but it's a different version. It's Erin 2.0, right? There's new chapters to be made. And so this whole year, I have known that I needed a change. And I've been frustrated because, and when I say change, it's a change of job, possibly change of location. I just really didn't know. And every time I would meditate about it, the answer that came back was, it's going to happen, be patient. Or it's almost here, just wait. And if any of you have ever been there, it's so annoying and frustrating to feel like you're absolutely ready for a big life change and to get out of a situation or, a mental place or a physical place that's unhealthy for you. And so when I'm in meditation, whether, you can call it prayer, you can call it meditation, whatever you want, and the answer just keeps coming back, be patient, you're almost there. It drove me insane. And so back in March, I interviewed for what I thought would be like, a dream job opportunity. I didn't get it. Right after that, I had a major panic attack, mental issue. That was kind of the last time I've ever had, or not ever, but the last time I've had one of those kind of major PTSD moments. And it made me realize that I wasn't quite there mentally to take on a new job. But at the same time, I wasn't in a good situation in my previous job. I won't go into too much detail about that, but it was a very volatile situation. It was, I'll just leave it at that. And so it was also affecting my mental health in the same way that my previous relationship would affect my mental health. There were a lot of high, low, never knew where you stood, never really understood what was going on. And so I just really got affected again with the anxiety and the depression and the PTSD. Like it was just kind of a constant cycle for me over the past few years. And so after March, I settled into, just trying to be okay and focus on myself and getting myself stronger. And Sage, working on Sage and hearing your stories and helping other people really got me there. It got me to the point where I was recognizing myself again, and I was strong in all aspects of my life, not just, a few of the different aspects. And so I would meditate, I would pray about, what I wanted to do next, what my next steps were. I had settled into a point in my job where I was okay, I was fine. It was, it was what it was. And I just figured the right answer would come to me. And so in October, I had a friend who called me up one day and she asked me if I wanted to interview for her company. I had turned her down several times, but because I just wasn't ready for the interview process. The interview process is stressful. You have to be on, you have to go at it like a full-time job. And I knew that. And I wanted to make sure that I was in a great place to tackle not only the interview process, but actually starting a new job. And so I that day, for whatever reason, I was ready. And I said, you know what? Send me over the link. I will apply for the job. I think that's a good idea. At the same time, for those of you who know me, and I've posted a little bit about it, one of my projects after my relationship was fixing up my house. It's an old house, has a lot of character. I felt a connection with this house when I walked in it. It's built in 1922, so it's almost 100 years old. It is not straight. It's kind of falling apart. It was falling apart a lot when I got it. And I've just been working on it, working on the yard, trying to ground myself throughout my healing process, just trying to make this house beautiful again. That gave me some sort of purpose while I was going through a lot of my healing. I wanted to make something else beautiful while I was struggling. And one of the last big projects in my house was the upstairs bathroom. And so I called a friend who had worked on my house before, and I wanted just to do a little facelift in the bathroom and make it prettier, not a complete gut job like most of the rest of my house. But, that was kind of the big thing to tackle. And so at the same time that the job, I was interviewing for this new job, my bathroom was getting worked on. And I sat down in my office and I started thinking to myself, oh, well, when my bathroom's done, the house is kind of done. What am I going to do with all my spare time when I don't have to, fix crumbling walls or paint the house? And so I started thinking about that. And then I started thinking about, okay, I'm a big fan of manifesting. And so I decided to write down everything that I wanted in my next chapter with my career. And I took some time, wrote down, the kind of culture I wanted, the kind of money I wanted, the kind of boss I wanted, the kind of, day-to-day responsibilities, fun, the workforce, what did I want out of life? And so I wrote that all down, kind of came up with a few core things that I wanted. And literally 5 minutes afterwards, I get a message from this manager of a company, and he asked me if I was looking for a job. And I wrote him back that I was, and he came the next day and interviewed me and went through the whole interview process. And we came to the end of the interview process, and I was very excited about this job. It is something so amazing. The company's so amazing. The products are so amazing. I was very excited about this job opportunity. And what changed during my interview process, because they were drawing the territory lines, I'm in sales, and what they said was, we want you for this job, but we want you to move. And if you're up to that, would you move to Washington, D.C.? And I didn't even hesitate, because I just knew that that was my next chapter. That was what needed to happen on my journey. It all kind of just came together at the exact time that it was supposed to come together. It's so funny that people say, when it's right, it's easy and it all falls into place. And I've been so frustrated for so long that it wasn't coming into place and it wasn't happening. And I read a lot of Gabby Bernstein. I like her stuff. And she says sometimes you have to relax because the universe needs to catch up with you. It's going to give you what you want and what you need and what's the best situation for you and everybody involved. But sometimes you have to just relax and it has to catch up with you. And so it just felt like it caught up with me. Easy peasy. And so in January, I am going to be selling my house and packing up my stuff. And Toby, even though he's not very excited yet about moving, and I'm moving to Washington, D.C. I am so excited to start this new chapter. I would be lying if I said I wasn't scared and didn't have moments of going, what the heck are you doing? Why are you taking this hard road? Why you would be so easy just to continue living in your house and, not actually go through the pain of moving. But that's not my journey. And I knew that right away. I know that in every ounce of my being that it's time for a new chapter and it's time for a new start. And that means selling my house, picking up all my belongings, and starting a new chapter somewhere else. And so that's what has been quote unquote distracting me for the past few months. It's a little crazy when you start a new job and you're moving your entire life. But I wanted to come on and talk about, new beginnings, because it's so hard when you're in the healing process and you want to get better and you want your life to change and you want things to move at a certain pace. There are a lot of times you could be in situations where are unhealthy for you and that you have to leave. It's just not the right time for you. And so what I encourage you to do in this new year, if you have no other, resolutions, we all have the resolution to lose weight, but if you have no other resolutions, just learning to reacquaint yourself with your intuition and learning to trust yourself is really all that you need in this world. And when we're in abusive situations or relationships, that can get taken away. There's a lot of confusion, especially if you're with a narcissist or an emotional abuser. You lose your inner voice. A lot of times we deny it, we ignore it, we suppress it. And then you're going through very traumatic events and chaos and PTSD. And so you don't really feel like you're thinking clearly all of the time. And so if you do nothing else while you're in your healing process, really work, and it takes work. It takes a lot of work. Work on reacquainting yourself with your intuition. I found that the guided meditation was so helpful in that, but it also took time. And I know everyone gets super frustrated when you say that, but it does. It takes time. For me, it took over 2 years to really get my strength back, get my groove back, and feel like I'm at that point where I'm at the right place, right time. And then things started to move, right? So I'm excited about my new beginnings. I'm excited to bring Sage to a new city, even though we're all virtual, but I'm just excited for the fresh start that I've been waiting for and praying for, but I'm happy that I listened to myself and I tried to enjoy the moment every day because it wasn't time. It was not time yet. And now it is time for a big change and a fresh start and a new beginning. And so I'm so excited that you guys are coming on the journey with me. And that's what I wanted to say. I wish you all a happy new year. I hope you had a great holiday season, a Merry Christmas. And if you are ready to share your story, you want to talk about your journey to healing, you want to talk about your fresh starts and your new beginnings, definitely reach out. Again, Facebook Messenger is a great way to reach out to us, or hello@sage.community. So with that, I will bid you adieu. Have a very happy new year. And I can't wait to hear about all your new beginnings as you start the next chapter of your life. Talk to you soon. Bye. Well, that's our show. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions or if you're willing to share your story, please email us at sageadvicepodcast@gmail.com. Until next week, remember, when you're kind to yourself, the healing can begin. See you next time.
This show was brought to you by inflowradio.com, the best curated talk radio network for personal development, wellness, spirituality, and conscious business.
If you or someone you love is in immediate danger, please call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-7233. For more information, please see the resources tab at sage.community.